we don't need roads.
Guys, seriously, what an honor to talk with you. I genuinely love this film, so I know you have a busy day, so I appreciate you taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Penn, I'm actually going to start with you. I'd imagine that now you have so much experience behind the camera that you can sort of look at your past projects that you didn't direct a little differently. You can see them through the eyes of a filmmaker. I'm wondering, which of your past projects do you now see the most differently because you can watch them with a deeper understanding of what it actually took to pull off?
You know, I think from the first time that I directed, which is this is the year that Dylan was born, actually. That would have been the significant moment of looking back over the previous 10 years of working in film. And you know, not surprisingly, it's a very practical thing that you see differently. You see that the sun is actually going to go down, and that director is really not going to get the shot if you don't hustle out of your trailer and get over there. And you become very appreciative of because it's such a multitasking job to direct. It's a 17 and a half hour day job at least for many, many months. And so I think that having directed films, I certainly got a deeper appreciation of what the burdens on a director were.
For sure. And Dylan, obviously growing up, you saw your father differently than the rest of us saw him. We see him as an amazing actor. You saw him as dad. But I was curious, what was the first moment that you saw him as sort of a source of knowledge for the profession that you wanted to pursue? Do you remember that one moment when you realized that he wasn't just dad, but he was also sort of a wealth of knowledge about acting and filmmaking?
I think I always knew that. Subconsciously, and then maybe consciously, when I decided that I wanted to be in the film industry around 12, 13, just being aware that he was a quote-unquote master of the career that I wanted to pursue. But acting is not what I wanted to do. So actually watching him as a director was what I paid more attention to, especially with Into the Wild, more than anything else. And then obviously watching him direct me and others in Flag Day was a great learning experience as well.
There's a really great moment in the film where John introduces his kids to Chopin and the music that he loves. Now, I was curious for both of you guys, what is the piece of pop culture, whether it be a movie or a musical artist or a TV show, that you're proud to have introduced the other person to?
Well, it's interesting because it sort of circles back to your previous question about, in the way you framed it was, when did she have that first realization moment that I might be a wealth of knowledge? In fact, I think that we had always, as a family, been so engaged in conversation and sometimes criticism of film and music, and it was I think it was just a roving continuum that we came to. But I don't know. I would like to think that I introduced them to Creedence Clearwater Revival, and I can certainly say, I don't want to speak for her, but significantly with Flag Day, I had been closing my eyes trying to find the singer's voice who would meld with Dylan's emotional expression best, and listening to some great singers, but it just didn't quite kick into the way I personalized her nature. And so then I asked her, and she's the one who suggested Cat Power for this. And when I heard her, then it was just a question of would Cat Power go along with it? And fortunately she did.
Oh, that's beautiful. The soundtrack on this was gorgeous. To give me the wrap, I just wanted to ask really quickly, Mr. Penn, thinking about everything that you've learned through your experience as a director, what's an important discovery that you've made that you really wish you knew as an actor at the beginning of your career that you only discovered since you were able to become a director?
I think it's a thing that it's so much about rediscovery, and in working with Dylan, because Dylan, I don't know when this kind of articulated itself for me, but I don't know of a less contrived actor that I've ever worked with, where you might see the scene and you're saying, well, wait a minute, you're not doing any of the cliches I expected. And you can almost find that you're a little uncomfortable with that, because those things immediately tell you what to think. And With Dylan, she just thinks, and you got to figure out what she's thinking, and it makes you pay more attention to her. So what that is for me as an actor, as a director, it's that peeling of the onion to just get down to this basic truth. And she's just a force of it. So I feel, I really do feel that, we have to relearn our craft all the time, and that in so doing, I learned a lot from her, just because she would approach things in such a directly honest way that, sometimes we think we're being honest, and then we catch ourselves in pose. And she really doesn't let the pose go on in herself or in you.
Well, it's genuinely one of the most beautiful performances I've seen this year, and both of you guys should be incredibly proud of this work. I appreciate you taking the time. Mr. Penn, everyone always told me I would never get the chance to talk to you. So 15 years doing this in the industry, so I appreciate finally getting the chance to chat with you, sir. It really was an honor, and I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, have a wonderful day, guys.
Bye-bye.
You too.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.